Everybody, in this video, what I want to show you is a unique type of concept. Right now, as of the date of this recording, which is Thanksgiving in 2024, there is this application that I've installed, which is the first video in the series. Well, maybe the second one. I'm thinking about recording an introduction. So anyway, it'll either be the second or the third. And what I wanted to highlight in this, well, first in the last video, what we did is we installed this solution called Pathfinder. And the Pathfinder solution itself has only two objects inside of it. So the solution Pathfinder has a table, which is this first item, and then the canvas item. So if we go into the actual canvas item to edit it, I want to show you some things. We're going to give you a whirlwind tour of the application, and then we're going to show you components or pieces of the application. Component was probably a poor choice of words, but sections or areas of the application. Okay, and again, this video is going to have a link in the description, so you can download this for yourself on GitHub. And as a result of that, you can learn and tear apart this app till your heart's content. So it is a seemingly innocent app with a bunch of really cool features. So first, let's look at the application from this perspective, and we have a single screen app. But within the application, if we go to Insert and we go to the Layouts section, at the bottom towards the layout, we do have this container. And this container is really good. It's really used for a lot in applications where you're trying to develop for the web and mobile all at the same time to make them responsive. There's ways of dealing with that. This is not the focus of this video. But as a quick tangent or aside, I typically personally, when I'm dealing with Fortune 100, 500 companies, because I usually find that they don't have a lot of dedicated developers towards any one particular area. They're either new or green, and there's usually like one or two people within the organization that really know anything about it. So it's not very scalable. And as a result of that, just because you can doesn't mean you should. And so I'm a big advocate of saying, if you're going to make a mobile app, make a mobile app. If you're going to make a desktop app or a web app, make a web app or a desktop app. It's a lot easier to manage and maintain, because if you even took something it's innocent as far as what this app is and or does. But there's so many pieces that are complex in this little app, which is why I did it. So because it's a great learning app. I basically boiled down a 3-screen app or more into a single screen using containers and switches to turn the containers off. But I do have all of these stacked in an appropriate layer. Now, here's a container for the container called exit. It is at the top of the stack. Now, how does it show? When I play the app and I click on this compass looking thing here at the top, I'm presented with this layover and a semi-opaque or semi-transparent background. And this is all in a container. This is why it's at the top, because it needs to sit on top of everything. But I want you to take special notice. The container itself takes the entire area over the entire application. So I have this header and I have this footer. So if we look down here, I click on this, you see the header is highlighted. I've got the footer that's highlighted. And then I have things on the left and things that are on the right. And so let's get rid of the container I'm going to hold the Alt key down and hit no. So right now this is full screen, but if I hold the Alt key again and I click on an item per se, now I have the real estate that was all one huge piece now broken down into separate key areas. Okay, so in addition to the overlay piece that I just showed you, which was the exit, that's this thingy, I also have these other regions, right? And I have this set up on the right side, which is the details. It's a little bit wider. And then I have the selection of the records on the right side. But inside of there, I also have details. Now the details, that's the screen we're seeing right now. But I also have this edit item here that you can't see until I hit the edit item. Now the edit container is higher in the pecking order than, say, the details. So if I don't want to show this, I just hide that layer, that edit layer. That's this layer, right? And so the edit layer is used to edit an existing record, or I can change the mode of the form when I click on certain things. Like, for example, when I click on the add, I'm going to tell it new form, and I'm going to pass in the name of the other form. Now, I think I did a good job. I probably missed some things, but I try to always name inside of whatever it is I'm doing with an actual name. This helps for troubleshooting. It helps for a variety of reasons, but Radio 1 is generic. I didn't actually name this one appropriately, but by and large, mostly everything is named or has a logical name to it. But the container order and the stacking is super, super important. And so inside of this edit, I have all of this stuff that's here. It's actually floating on the outside. So if we look in this area at the screen, on the actual screen level, there's some objects that are sitting in the screen. Okay, so this image exit, this actually should be removed. So I'm going to cut this out, and we're going to go down here to the header. And now I got the header selected. I'm going to do Control V, and I'm going to paste it inside of the header. So now that I'm inside of the header, I'm going to realign this to where I think it should be. Okay, and so we've moved that out of the main area. This add button is in this area that's on the main screen, so that's fine. This arrow is also in the main screen. That's fine. And then if we come down to these blocks, SHP, this is just a shape. And so this shape information is just kind of floating in and or around. One of the things I could do, since everything is just, floating around at the screen, I could just hit Control G and group all of this stuff together. And now that I got it grouped together, I'll just call this right? So screen layer objects. And these are all of the things that are just floating around in the screen that are inside of here. So now I can nice and tightly collapse everything except for this. This actually should have been in the group, as well as the radio button. So I'm going to go to my group, screen layer objects, and we're going to ungroup. Unfortunately, I don't think there's a way of adding something to the container. And that's the problem. Once you group something, this is why I hate using groups for this reason. They're so limited in what you can do. So unfortunately, I'm going to have to find this. I'm going to have to ungroup everything, come back here, find all of the objects that I wanted to add again. We'll do all of these items. And now if I hit Control G, we call it screen layer group. All right. So now I have everything nicely, tightly bundled up, and let's go play the app. It'll be a little bit easier to show you as we move through the following lessons. Now, your source code is going to have it ungrouped, but nonetheless, so what you do is you click on and throughout these items. Okay, so this is in this area, and as we set the focus, we have some things going on. One thing to call out that I do want to show you is for some of these items, which we don't have, so I can't show you that just yet, but we'll show you that in a second. I have this filter that's going on, right? So we are able to filter through all of these, and if you click all, the filter comes off. I don't have anything for requests except for this one onboarding. And abandon, I have this one item as well. So the rest of these have a bunch of other items. Anyway, we're going to do all here. I'm going to edit. Let's edit this first one, data migration. So a couple things that are going on. We showed you the Excel table earlier, so you can pop that open and look at it. But one of the things that I'm doing here is I'm taking the record called initiation date. This is the date that we initiated this particular process. And so this process, from the time that it was instantiated, or that date timestamp, to today, I'm basically doing a date different differential function to find out how many days old this thing is. This is why I'm specifying the difference of these two dates. I want it in days, and this is the elapsed time, or how many days old it is. So I also am doing the same thing over here. You see 455 here, and you see 455 days old. So in the gallery, I can see that this one is 698 days old, right? And this one's 578 days old. And you can see that number that's over here. So if we go into the template, edit the template for the gallery, we can see I'm doing the same thing here just for that number. Now, the other thing you might have noticed is that I can edit a particular record. And so I am in the, I'm in the process migration record. One of the things I can do for key participants, this is a choice column, but it's also a multi-select choice column. So I'm going to go ahead and choose all of this, and we'll save out. And now you can see that the key participants has a couple of extra items in there. And so this is very, very helpful. The other thing that is helpful is we have some banding that's going on. This is not a feature that's out of the box. I'm going to do a dedicated video in this series where we're going to cover what I did here, because as seemingly innocent as it is, it's extremely complicated. It is a advanced feature, and you would think you could just flip a switch over here and say banded items and yes or no, and then choose the alternating rows, one for odd, one for even, but it's not as simple as that. We have new controls that are available within the Power Platform, and so you can turn those controls on. I think it's over here. Nope, maybe under updates, modern controls and themes. Yeah, here it is. So you can turn it on here, but the gallery doesn't have that feature as of yet. Maybe it will, but as of now it doesn't, which is again frustrating and disappointing. And we'll come back to that. And we're gonna talk next in a short video about the gallery. So from here on out, they're going to be relatively short videos. This one's a longer video because I just wanted to show you everything that's here. And then there's an add button. Okay, so we're still using the same form as the edit, except this time when I click on add, the add button, the on focus, where is it? On select. Again, I'm using new form, and I'm just changing the mode of the form. The other thing that I want to show too is that there is a selection that is happening on this gallery, and so as a result of this, the width of this initial grid that we have here, which is not the group layer but the edit, and actually not that one either. It's not the details, it's the records. So this width of this gallery is dynamic based on if there's a record that's hidden in the selection. And I'll show you what that means in just a moment here. So let's just go ahead and get out of here. Now nothing's selected, okay? So the on select of this is where I'm populating something, and it's what's controlling the width. So I'll show you all of these elements in the next couple of videos. So let's end this one here, and we'll pick up in this gallery where we'll dive into the dynamic sizing of the variables, or rather of the containers, and how I did that.